What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I am here today with a review for The Oval. This is season 2, episode 1, and the episode is titled A Little Girl Talk. So you guys, without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, I do want to put this out on the forefront. I would have done this video last night, but in the middle of me watching the episode, my power cut off again. It didn't come back on until midnight, and I just went to sleep at that point. And then when I woke up this morning, the power was still on. Went out again, so it's back on now. So I'm recording it as quickly as I can so that way I can edit it and upload it. Because if I don't, if the power goes out again, I don't know when it's going up. Because now when the power goes out, I think the towers are being affected as well, so I have no internet connection. But without further ado, you guys, let's get into this episode review, shall we? All right, you guys, so the episode, it actually picked up where the season finale ended. You guys remember the season finale was when the maid went into Jason's room. She was cleaning her room and she found Jean's dead body in there. So I was looking at the maid and, she's just like George, So she's just running through the house, through the residence. And then she passed up a phone. I'm like, ma'am, there was a phone right there. You could have called for help. But she didn't. So then we see Sam and Priscilla. So, Sam and Priscilla, they are still in the kitchen. And Priscilla, she's still upset with Sam because, she's with this whole situation with Victoria. So Priscilla is asking Sam to pull his pants down. I'm like, girl, you're not gonna do what they did on Ruthless, are you? About when the leader of the Rackadoochies, I don't know his name, so you guys would have to leave that in the comment section because I didn't even watch that episode. I just saw the clips when he asked that man to pull his pants down and he sniffed his ding dong. So she's asking him to pull his pants down. He's not doing it. So then she goes up to Sam, sniffs him. She's like, you smell like that bitch. I'm like, oh, he does. So I don't know if she threatened to kill Victoria and Hunter because she kept saying, I'm a threat now. So I'm like, huh? Did you threaten to kill them? You guys have to fill that one in for me. So then the maid does come into the kitchen. And I was sitting there thinking, like, how far did she go? Like, how far is the residence from the kitchen? Because I'm just like, she went pretty far for her to be having a heart attack. I'm surprised she didn't pass out on the floor. And then she never once mentioned Jean. Well, I know when you're having a heart attack, you can't really talk. Okay. I'm gonna let the maid have it. So then, while the maid is having a heart attack, in comes Victoria in her negligee, and she was playing with Priscilla, because Priscilla noticed her, and Priscilla's like, "Ma'am, it's the middle of the day, and you're in your negligee." She was like, "Oh, I just took a nice warm shower, bath, and I heard the commotion, and here I am." And Victoria noticed that Priscilla is eyeing her up and down, So Victoria says, is everything okay? And Sam says, it's all good. And like I said, Victoria is playing some games when it comes to Priscilla because she said, no, I was talking to her. And I was looking at Priscilla because I was looking at her shirt. I kept looking at her shirt. I'm like, what is that on her shirt? And it took me a few minutes to finally figure out that she was crying. I'm like, oh, this woman is a great actress. She's crying on cue? Girl, you doing the damn thing. I was like, okay. But like I said, Victoria was playing with Priscilla. Priscilla is better than me because Victoria, Karen, you do a good job, girl. You do a good job. But Victoria would have got, the way Victoria has beat Denise's ass, Priscilla should have beat Victoria's ass the same way she's been doing Denise. Just putting that out there. But let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys. So I did forget to mention one thing. So Victoria and Priscilla both told Sam to leave. Sam said he wasn't leaving. It was back and forth. So I'm not going to go into how repetitive that was, but let's move on. So Gail, you guys remember Gail and Jason, Grandma. What is Grandma's name? I forgot what her name is. You guys have to leave that in the comment. Because that was the thing about this episode. The show has been gone for so long that I couldn't remember certain people's names. Like, I don't remember if we know grandma's name. So in my notes, it's just grandma because I don't remember the woman's name. I don't remember her name. Like, it took me a minute to remember some of these characters' names. I'm like, who is this? Who is this? Okay, but yeah, Gail is on the plane with grandma, and Gail asked grandma, why is Victoria afraid of her? And grandma was like, she's smart to be afraid of me. And the one thing I will say that these kids are not afraid of this woman, like whatsoever. They are not afraid of her. And Gail tells her, you're creepy. And grandma says, and you're disrespectful. And Gail says, well, I'm disrespectful when I'm being disrespected. And I'm like, who are you being disrespectful? Well, you know what? Never mind. Because Victoria has disrespected that girl. I will give her that. Victoria has been disrespectful, but you've been disrespectful back to your mama. So grandma, she's talking about, where are you taking me? She says, basically, it's a game of whose chest is bigger with grandma and Gail's. That's an interesting one. Whose chest is bigger? Who got the bigger balls? Honestly, I'm going to give it to Gail. I think because grandma's older. But you know what? Don't let the old age fool you. Those who will give each other a run for their money if they got into a fight. But grandma ultimately tells Gail that, you know what, little girl, I'm going to put you through hell. And she tells her, and Gail tells her, the only person you need to worry about, really and truly, is the weirdo that's in the bathroom jacking off right about now. She says, that's what he's doing. She says, why do you think he's been in there for so long? What do you think he's really doing? And then I started thinking about it, like, how long has he been? Jason is creepy. All right, you guys, and then next, let's move over to Richard. So you guys know, Richard, he's back home from the hospital. I forgot that Nancy was even still there. She's in the kitchen, I guess, making a salad for him. When he goes in there, he tells her, get out. She says, no. They had a bit of a back and forth repetitive dialogue, which we're not going to talk about. So then he asked her, who was the man that she was with once again? She said it was just a one-time thing. He says, well, who was it? She says, I'm not telling you. You guys, I still think it's Sam. For some weird reason, I think it's Sam. Because that's too predictable. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. So she tells him she's not going to tell him. So then he once again tells her to leave. She says, no, I'm not leaving. He says, okay, well, shit. You ain't got to leave you ain't got no money. Because he said, I canceled your credit card. She said, that's fine. He said, oh, yeah, and with the bank account, I took all the money out of the bank account. So that check that you wrote for Piggy, that check that you wrote for Piggy for the funeral home is going to bounce. I was like, He told her, you thought you was going to bury your son using my money? Guess again. I was like, oh, damn, Richard is being dirty to Nancy. That's cold-blooded, but I think I would do that. Oh, God. Let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys. Next, let's talk about Bobby and Lily. So Bobby and Lily are at some dusty-ass cabin. So, see, this is one of those things where I couldn't remember what Bobby's name was for a good few minutes, and I thought about it, Bobby. So Lily asked him, what is the next? Oh, she asked him what's next for them, basically. He says, well, let's just take it one day at a time. I don't know if you want to take it one day at a time with this shit that Lily has got her so wrapped up in. Not only does she have to deal with Kyle sleeping with Don, she also knows that the president killed somebody. Well, technically, he didn't kill some. Well, we don't know who killed Denise. So I don't know if you want to take it one day at a time. You might want to try to take it minute by minute. Because, I mean, she's in some deep, deep-ish. So Lily and Bobby had a little bit of a oh, God. I mean, that's one of the things about Tyler Perry shows. I love his shows. But it's the back and forth dialogue that kind of annoys me. But other than that, out of all of his shows, this is actually my favorite. Sisters is next, and then The Haves and the Have-Nots. Actually, I don't know. Because Sisters and the Haves and the Have-Nots, actually, no. It's this first, then it's The Haves and the Have-Nots, and then it's Sisters. I don't know. It's whatever. But yeah, they have a back and forth. And Bobby ends up telling Lily, "You're safe with me." I don't know how Lily can feel safe with a man that she met at the airport, had sex with him in the bathroom, and you don't know anything about him. I just don't know how you feel safe with him. But I guess it's better than to be with your husband that's gay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I guess it's better to be with him than your murdering ass husband. So I mean, I guess so. So then we see everyone is watching the news. So you guys remember the big story on the news was the fact that allegedly Max and Yuma were having an affair with Denise, and they both had a shootout at the shop. And we all know that Max is alive, but Yuma is dead. So that's the story that they're perpetuating, is that Max and Yuma was having an affair with Denise. We're going to talk about that in just a minute because I'm actually in agreement with Victoria. But let's pause here and move forward. All right, you guys. So I was just talking about the fact that they were watching the news. So Hunter is in the Oval Office. Don comes in there and Hunter asks him if he took care of it. He says yes. So then he asks, Hunter asked Don, so what is the press saying? And he says that the new girl is trying to manage it, and she gave up, medical records and saying she's on antidepressants and use illegal drugs. So if that didn't make sense, I'm gonna make it make sense. So the new girl, you guys remember Ellie, she's a new press secretary because he fired Diane. So Ellie is using Diane's medical records against her because she's on antidepressants and she's saying she used illegal drugs. So they're trying to discredit what she went into the press briefing room and said and dropped did the mic drop last season. So while Hunter is, Hunter was going off on Don because Don was, smart, talking back to him. Victoria comes in and she's pissed off, and she asked them who are the agents that they're saying is having an affair with Denise, and Hunter and Don want to be so off-putting to her, basically. So eventually Hunter tells Don, just answer her. He says, because she'll bite your dick off. So Don tells her that it is Max and Yuma. She says, you idiots. Who the hell do you think is going to believe that story? And, they said, well, they're both dead, so no one can corroborate this story. She says, again, you're idiots. She says, because Max, he survived. And they're like, no, he didn't. She says, yes, he did. They're like, how do you know? She was like, I just saw it on the news. And Hunter's like, we're going to believe the news over our guy? Well, technically, Max shot him. No, not Max. Kyle. I had to think about it. Kyle shot Max. He flew through the window, which I'm still stuck on how he didn't die either. But he flew through the window, and all that happened with that situation was that Kyle just walked over his alleged dead body and kept going. Kyle didn't check his pulse or anything like that. So Kyle did not know for sure if he was in fact dead. So yeah. So Don is gonna go get Kyle to confirm that Max is dead. But again, like I said, Max ain't dead. So then once Don leaves, Victoria was like, why would you do that to him? Like, he's been with us for 8 years. And, Hunter's like, it was just business. I would, looking at Hunter, he gives me so much of who. Only difference between Hunter and who is Hunter is a better looking person than who. That's the only difference between those two, because they are both egomaniacs. They are both all about self. But Hunter and who are the same person, just younger and better. One is younger and better looking. So then we see Diane as she's leaving the White House, and she finds Priscilla in the car crying. So she gets in the car with Priscilla and she asks Priscilla, is she okay? And Priscilla says, yeah, I'm okay. So Diane says, well, I can drive you home with that, so if you need me to. And Priscilla's like, no, I'm fine. And, Diane was like, well, at least you're going to be fine. With me, I don't know, because I have a target on my back. So, Priscilla's like, why would you have a target on your back? She says, I can't really tell you here. She kept saying that so many times. I'm like, as many times as she kept saying, I can't tell you here, I was like, Priscilla, why do you keep asking her questions if she keeps saying, I can't speak about it right here in this place. But she tells her that, she spilled all the tea, and she asks her, what do you know about Max and Yuma? So she says, I don't, she says, they're good people. She says, well, Yuma is dead and Max is in a hospital. And she was like, why? Again, she just told you. She cannot tell you right there. She says, are you going home? She says, yes. She says, well, I need to make a stop at the hospital, but then once I leave the hospital, I'll come to talk to you. But Diane did tell her that she's onto something, and right now the only people that she can trust is Priscilla and Sam. Really. I wouldn't trust anybody in the White House, to be quite honest with you. But let's move on, you guys. Oh God, Barry. I don't know. So Barry, you guys remember, Barry kidnapped Ruth. Where did it make sense for Barry to kidnap Ruth and take her to the police station? How much sense did that make? You just kidnapped this woman in broad daylight. Wait, was it daylight or was it night? I don't remember, but whenever you kidnap this woman, you kidnapped her, and then you're going to take her to the police station? Barry does the dumbest stuff. I get you want Callie back. I get that. But why would you do something and that was really stupid. Because you did kidnap this woman. As much as, we can say that Ruth kidnapped Callie, you kidnapped Ruth. And Barry ends up getting his dumb ass arrested for kidnapping Ruth. God, Barry is stupid. Is Barry Richard, I don't even think Barry is Richard's son. I really feel like Nancy had an affair with the same man that she had the baby with that's Picky's father. Because Picky and Barry are one and the same. God. Here's another question because we're going to move over to Kareem and Sharon. So, the pharmacy, it's fixed. How is the pharmacy fixed already? How is the pharmacy fixed? I'm just going to move on. So Kareem, he apologizes to Sharon, and she tells him, you can keep your apology. I really don't honestly care. So then Kareem asks Sharon, is she okay? She's like, yeah, I'm okay. Why do you ask? She says, I'm just tired. So it was a long back and forth with them. In a nutshell, he was asking her if she's pregnant. She's like, no, I'm not pregnant. And even if I was pregnant, it's not yours. He was, oh God. Kareem is a little bitch. Putting it like that. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So then Sharon suggests, well, you know what? Maybe you should hire someone so that we don't have to do this. He says, okay, you know what? I got you. I'll put up a help wanted sign. So then, she's going to work the front counter and he's going to work the prescriptions. So before she goes to the counter, she goes to get a pregnancy test. She says, God, I hope he's not right. Wait a minute, though, but wouldn't she? Well, no, it's too soon. Because, they just had sex on the counter. So she would be pregnant by Barry. Okay, let's move on. All right, you guys, and then we are going to wrap the episode up. I'm so sorry if this video is not, to what I'm used to doing with the Oval, but given the circumstances, I kind of have to go fast, unfortunately. But I hope the review is thorough for you guys. So Bobby got a call from Diane. So she tells Bobby that she needs his help. And he was like, she needs his help to get Max to safety. So he tells her, you know what, I'll help you, but I need help from you as well. She says, okay, well, if you help me, I got you back. So she tells him that she needs him to meet her at the hospital. He's like, okay, I'll be there in a little bit. So then once he hangs up with her, Lily asks who was that. And I don't know why Lily seemed like she was getting jealous because he said she. But Lily ends up she tells Bobby that I need to tell you something. He says, what is it? She says that she heard that the president killed someone. He was like, oh, crap. You in bigger shit than what I thought you were. I'm like, exactly. It's not just Kyle. It is Kyle plus Don plus this mess. Girl. Better call Wendy Williams. All right, so then we see Diane. So she's still using her press badge at the hospital to go see Max. And she finds out that Max is fine. He's alive. He's, I don't understand. He's not in critical condition, but from what the doctor said, Max had on a bulletproof vest. He had a metal plate up under that. Now shards of the metal plate got into his chest, and it was inches, from what he was saying, it was like inches away from major vessels. So I'm kind of confused as to why is he not in critical condition? Because they had to do surgery to get those, and we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that as well. So Diane goes to his room, and she's talking to Max. And I was looking at Max. I'm like, that man doesn't look like somebody that's had surgery. That man looks normal. His face ain't, because he flew through glass, so his face should be swollen and puffy. And then he had a hospital gown on. Now, when you do surgery, you are all bandaged. Okay, I'm just not even gonna go into it. Not gonna go into it. We're just gonna let it ride. So then let's wrap up the episode with Grandma and Jason. So Grandma asked Jason on the plane, why was he in the bathroom so long? He said he was constipated. She said, if I go in there and I find anything that, looks obscene, basically, it's going to be a problem. I'm like, so you're going to go in the bathroom and look to see if there is nut everywhere? You're disgusting. You keep calling him disgusting, old lady. You just as nasty as him. So she asked him what is going on with him. He says nothing is going on with him. But he does tell her that he needs to go back to the White House and clean his room. She's like, no, you're not going. Sit down and put your seatbelt on. He tells her no, that if you don't turn this plane around, that emergency exit door, I'm going to bust that open. So they had another back and forth with each other. And eventually he tells her that he killed Jean. She didn't believe him. I'm like, lady, if somebody tells you they just killed somebody, take them seriously. So she once again tells him to sit down and put his seatbelt on. He sat down, and when she closed her eyes, he jumped at her and started choking her. I'm like, you should have listened to him. You should have listened. All right, you guys, but that is The Oval, Season 1. That's the first episode of Season 2. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Please like this video, leave your comments, and subscribe to the channel. And hit that notification bell so you guys know when I drop anything else. Also, get down in that description bar and go and check out the Planner channel and subscribe there as well. And as always, you guys, do me a solid favor. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands, to wear your mask, and to socially distance. And we will get through this together. And to my Texas subscribers, bundle up, you guys. Stay warm. We will definitely get through this. Also, you guys, please do me a big favor. Pray for me and pray for my family. My family back home in my hometown. They have no water. They turned the water pipes off down there because they're bursting. So please pray for them. They don't have any water, but they do have heat because my grandmother's house is an older house. I think my grandmother's house was built in the 60s. So it's gas. So they have, heat, they have food. They just don't have any water at this point. But pray for them and pray for me and pray for everyone in Texas. And until the next one, you guys, I'll see you guys later. So I don't know how tonight's going to go. This is Wednesday that I'm recording this. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know what's going to be the status of Sisters, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And I think I'm going to review Orange, New Jersey. Those videos, you guys might have to see them Thursday or Friday. I just don't know at this point. But be patient with me, you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.